All right, BassBlaster, what's going on? Hanging out with you guys, maybe for the first time ever on video. It's pretty exciting stuff. We are throwing topwater. It is the fall, and it's one of my favorite times of year to fish. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of tournaments this time of year, but I still get out on the water a lot just because the topwater bite's so good. And we did get to experience a really good fall bite over at Chateau, transition from summer to fall bite, all topwater. And today we're throwing, it's a new Berkley J-Walker. It's our cigar shape style topwater bait. One thing that we did with it is it's really heavily tail weighted, so I can bomb this thing. I wanted to make sure when we made this bait that I could cast it further than everything else out there on the market, because generally topwater is cleaner water, and you want that bait to get as far away from the boat as possible. The further away you can get it, the more bites you'll get, I promise you. So long cast is really important with the topwater most of the time, unless you're, of course, just up shallow right around the bank, then you need accurate cast more than long cast. But that's number one. Number two, action on a topwater bait is really important. You need a bait that's gonna walk. If it's a walking bait, walk side to side. With being able to pause it too. One thing that this bait does is if I stop it and I go to walk it again, it goes back to the other side every single time. It does not ever fault up, and what'll cause them to fault up is if they sit too far tail down. You can see this bait right here, it doesn't sit really tail down all that much. It stays more horizontal, and that allows me to always get a good side to side walking the dog action with it. And number three, really probably four key things to a topwater, but number three, colors are really important. So we're throwing bone today. It's cloudy, it's in the morning, the water's not super clear, so it's going to help just really stand out on the surface better than a clearer color. If it's sunny and calm and clear, or sunny and even a little breeze, I like a all chrome. We've got another color down here that I really like that I feel is kind of not used as often, and this is a really nice color that we call CJ Shad, but it also, you can see how heavy of the tail weight we got back there, and that's what's key for making this bait cast so far. But this is a nice translucent color, you can see through it, so for really clear water, this one does really well. And the fourth and final thing that's super important to me for topwater is sound, and you guys can hear it right there. We have several different baits, but this one was really important to make the sound right. We didn't want it too loud or too soft, because this is your standard, walk the dog topwater bait. And again, it's the J-Walker. It's a 120 size, and that sound right there, to me, the key, like if I make a long cast, well, with the one we're throwing, is I can hear that bait all the way away from the boat. And if I can hear it well and it's not super loud, then I feel like I've got the best all around sound. And there are times I want a louder bait, and that's what we have a cane walker for. It disturbs a lot more water on the surface and just has bigger rattles and some more rattles in it, not bigger, but more rattles in it. So you do get, it's a lot noisier bait. And if we start to get a chop on the water or something, either chop on the water or a lot of boat traffic on the water, that's when I'll switch to that style bait. And that's what I threw at Chateau for that reason. We had a lot of boats running around. There's waves everywhere, so I needed a bait that was going to create a lot of disturbance, where this J-Walker just wouldn't have been enough. But if it was calm, this is the bait that I would have chose. So as far as rods go, I use two different sizes. I keep it really simple. I use a 7-foot medium if I'm up fishing, within a cast of the bank. And then if I'm fishing out deeper, like I did at Chateau, off long points and stuff, I throw a 7'6" medium heavy. It's a winch though, so it's a cranking version graphite rod that Abu Garcia makes. And that longer rod, those extra 6 inches, just allow me to get it even further away from the boat. If I'm fishing off the bank, out off deeper points, the water's gonna be clearer, right? That makes sense. So I need that bait further away from the boat. and that's when I'll scale up to a 7.5 foot rod. And again, it's a medium heavy, but it's a winch, so it's built for treble hook style baits. As far as line and reels go, I'm an 8-to-1 guy. I like a fast reel. This is a Revo STX. It's 33 inches per turn, so it's picking up a lot of line. I use 30-pound X9 braid. It's a really smooth braid. When I cast it, you don't hear it going through the guides. You can make really long casts. And then I use 15-pound mono for the leader, and that's just to keep the bait. You know, the braid is so limp that when you walk the dog, a lot of times braid, if you throw straight braid, it'll get caught up in the hooks or whatever. This is like an 18-inch leader, just enough to keep the line, you know, out in front of the bait where it's not going to tangle up with the hooks. Really simple, and I mean that's all you need. I'm telling you, it's I think maybe sometimes it's overcomplicated, but you need 2 different size rods, 30-pound braid on all of it with a 15-pound mono leader and a fast reel, and you're good to go. I can't think of anything else I'd really need in a walk-in topwater setup other than that. And I feel I can go anywhere from California to Washington to Florida to New York with that setup, and it's going to be just fine everywhere that I go. So yeah, simple stuff, guys. Keep it simple.